Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 7, which I am calling Welcome to My SmartPort. So for you who have been tracking along, you would know that this morning I went in to get my portacath. So to Pindaro Hospital, Derek took me in at 7:30. Easily went through admissions. That was very, very efficient, and we know how I like good efficiency. I didn't have to wait long, and the nurse came and grabbed me, said goodbye to Derek, who would then pick me up once it was over. So that was probably at about 7:45. So the nurse takes you in and goes through a whole heap of questions, which is fairly standard with surgery. But one thing I did learn today was when they say you need to fast for a blood test, you're allowed to drink water. When they say you need to fast for surgery, apparently 100 ml of water is all you can have. So because I have really, really small veins, and look at how many times they tried to get my veins this morning, I thought I'd do the right thing and drink a heap of water. So I drank over a litre. So she was a little bit concerned about that, which made me concerned, thinking, oh God, am I even going to get in today? But as long as you tell them, they can deal with it. And so that was all good. So they got me ready. The anaesthetist came and saw me, BJ at Pindara. He was excellent. Again, good sense of humour, but he really did not like my veins, as most people who try to get blood out of me don't. So the catheter ended up going into my my wrist. And I've had that before. It seems to be the most consistent vein. Then Dr. Diviana came and saw me and just sort of talked me through a few things. And so I was ready to go. And then in came Kenny, which was excellent. So it was really good to see him in the place where I was about to go in. So he sort of talked to me about the water thing too, because as he reminded me, they can deal with it as long as they know. And obviously in places like ICU, where people are coming in and they need to put them under quickly, they would not have fasted. So it's just about knowing and sharing that information and being really truthful about it too. So I get taken into surgery. Again, for those who know me, I love a good anesthetic. It's a thing that just mystifies me the most in the world from the very first time I had it, because if you've been under anesthetic, basically you just fall asleep and next minute you're in recovery. So that's obviously what happened to me today, and woke up in recovery. So the portacath is in. You can sort of see it there on my left side. They also put markers in so that they can measure how the lumps will change over time. So that all went in very, very smoothly, no problems at all. Probably the biggest issue I had was with my x-rays, because they then had to do a chest x-ray to make sure the portacath is sitting in the right place. And so the first x-ray came back, and although it looked okay on the screen, when they printed it, it was all black. So then everybody went into action mode, because apparently the printer for the imaging wasn't working. So Dr. Diviana was in theatre. Plan B was to basically get him to have a look on the computer, but then I had to wait for him to come out of surgery, which is fine. It was probably an extra hour, but when you're in recovery, you can't look at your phone. I then asked whether I could have a snack. Apparently no food either, because I was starving. By this stage, we were probably getting on to about 1:30, and I knew poor Derek would have been sitting in the waiting room, because Kenny had texted him when I was already in recovery. So poor Derek was sitting there for probably about 2 hours. So the nurses were fantastic, because as this was all happening, I think they were ringing x-ray about every 10 minutes asking what the update was on that printer, and then pushing them for a plan B, because obviously I couldn't leave until Dr. Diviana had looked at where the portacath was sitting. Now, there was very low risk that the portacath was going to be sitting in the wrong place, and in fact at one stage, me being the time Nazi, suggested whether I could just discharge myself. Obviously that didn't go over very well, and it was fine, because Dr. Diviana turned up about 2 minutes later and said that everything was good. So I'll see him in another next week. Actually, he'll just have a look at my wound, and I'll have my appointment with with him. Then I went out and had, again, my favourite hospital food, which is egg sandwiches, so that was really good. And then Sharon, the breast care nurse, came and just spoke to me about different things. She also gave me, and I don't know whether I can flip this around, so I might just have to turn it. Hang on, let me see. Can you see that? So they're the cushions. The two little ones up the top are for your seatbelt so that your portacath doesn't rub, and the other one sits under your arm for sleeping, because that's what I was worried was about, sleeping on the portacath as well. So you can also see all the other information. I can't tell what sort of shot I'm doing here. This is the stuff that I'm going to go through this afternoon and just do a little bit more preparation and reading, because I think I've been a little bit ad hoc for a while, so I've been listening to what people say, but I might just go through everything this afternoon and just make sure I'm really prepped, because obviously tomorrow is chemo at 10 a.m. so I will probably leave it at that, and then I shall tune in hopefully tomorrow once chemo is done to fill you in on how all that went. Thanks everyone, bye.